Hello. This is the recipe for my infamous chocolate chip cookies. This is the simplest recipe you'll ever run into. This is how you measure flour. You scoop, you tap. That's why I like the metal cups as well. And then you scrape the excess off. That's a cup of flour. So in the bowl we have 3 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder. The recipe is on the website as well. And a teaspoon of salt. Don't try and put kosher salt or coarse salt into this. You don't mix it enough for it to dissolve. So shake your flour out. You can tap it against your hand and do stuff like that too. I have a nice big sieve, so I can do it like this. So in the mixer we have 250 grams of butter, which we are going to cream. And that really just means that we're going to work it until it's soft enough that we can dissolve the sugar in it. For this we use 260 grams of brown sugar. I think the original recipe once upon a time called for 160 grams of white sugar and 60 grams of dark brown sugar. But I just used the light brown sugar and kind of split the difference. The sugar won't all dissolve in this butter. There just isn't enough moisture in the butter to dissolve all the sugar. But it does give you a cookie with quite a crunchy texture. Now what I'm doing here is on the bowl. Anything that has stuck to the sides of the bowl will actually get the chance to be mixed in properly as well. So the beater I'm using there is a K beater. If you use the Americans call it a paddle beater. If you use that, you'll get stuff sticking to the side of the bowl until you have formed it into a drier consistency. Then it'll actually start to pull the excess dough off the sides of the bowl. Now we've got the sugar in here. Like I say, about half of it will dissolve in the butter. The other will give you that nice crunchy texture. And to this we add 2 eggs, which makes the batter a little bit more liquid. Unless the eggs and the butter are exactly the same temperature, you'll get little fat globules forming. But don't worry about this. When you add the flour, it'll mix them out. They'll sort of even out in the flour. That's why you do the flour first, because you're just going to need to pop it in here. The Kenwood tends to dance around quite a bit, and you can see there's the batter, and we're adding the flour. I tend to just hang on to my Kenwood so that it doesn't dance off the table while I have my back turned. Now, whatever you do at this stage, don't turn the mixer on to full blast, because then there will be flour all over the kitchen. But as the flour mixes in, the dough becomes firmer. So you need to be careful that you are not laboring the motor on your Kenwood. So you notice I keep turning it up just a little bit at a time. Once this is just mixed, you don't have to mix the hell out of this. You can just mix it for a minute or two, as you can see I've done here. I haven't changed anything in this part. And you're going to add the chocolate chips to that. Let the Kenwood do the work of actually mixing the chocolate chips into the cookie dough. I try and do this when there are no women in the house, because there's something about cookie dough that makes them want to eat it. Hello, it's butter and raw eggs. It's not that nice. But yeah, women like to eat, well, not women in general, just the women in my house like to eat the cookie dough. So we add the chocolate chips. Now these are two-tone chocolate chips that I'm using. I know the recipe says 200 grams, but I like to add more like 300, 350 grams, on the theory that you can't put too many chocolate chips into your chocolate chip cookies. These ones I get from Kate at the Chocolatier. Her email address is on the website if you want to buy these from her. I think she only does industrial quantities, but I'm sure she'll make a plan for any friend of mine. So mix the chocolate chips in, and let the Kenwood do the job for you. Scrape it down a few times while you're doing this. I had to cut that bit for length. Now you're doing about half a tablespoon full of dough. So I use the tablespoon to measure, and then use my fingertips just to make the dough into more or less little round balls. Give you a better idea of how much dough I'm using. And the beauty of using a spoon, here we go, it was a little bit much. And yeah, it's about the size, a ball about the size of a new 50-cent piece. That's the South African 50-cent piece. There we go. Okay, pop them in the oven. When they are golden brown on the bottom, they're ready. They will be slightly soft, so very gently put them out to cool, and as they cool, they'll become hard as well. It doesn't take long to cool them. Pop them on a plate and